Welcome to this medical biology lesson. This is the fourth lesson. We're going to talk about the immune system. The immune system protects you against pathogens, against organisms that try to make you sick, but they can also be abnormal cells, such as cancer cells. Your immune system protects you against microorganisms, also called pathogens or germs. What are microorganisms? A microorganism is a small creature that cannot be seen with the naked eye. So microscopic, they can make you sick, and that is why we sometimes call them pathogens. There are also a lot of good bacteria, for example, in the intestines, such as the E. coli bacteria, but these can also make you sick. For example, if it ends up in the bladder, then there is a good chance of a bladder infection, and then it's a pathogen. Examples of microorganisms are bacteria, viruses, fungi, single-celled parasites. They can therefore enter your body through the respiratory tract, the digestive tract, the skin, or through sexual contact. And when a pathogen enters the body, it can cause infectious diseases. Bacteria and virus are common in our lives. What exactly is the difference between these two pathogens? The important difference is that a bacterium is larger than a virus, and we can fight them with antibiotics. Antibiotics have no effect on a virus. Another very important difference is that a bacterium can multiply itself. So one bacterium enters your body, and an hour later, there are hundreds. A virus cannot reproduce itself. When a virus enters your body, it goes to the nucleus of a body cell, and via the DNA in that cell nucleus, it instructs that cell to produce more viruses. Antibiotics, therefore, have no effect on a virus. But we can defend ourselves against a number of types of viruses by vaccinating. So, if a virus wants to spread in the body, it must first look for a host cell, a body cell in the human body. Your body is therefore constantly working to protect you against pathogens, your immune system. But what exactly does the immune system include? The immune system first starts by stopping the thousands of microorganisms. There are thousands of microorganisms on your skin alone. The skin and mucous membrane is the first barrier through which a germ must pass. As long as your skin is closed and your mucous membrane is intact, such a microorganism cannot enter your body. So well-cared-for skin is very important. The skin can take care of itself very well. For example, sebaceous glands, which produce sebum. This causes the skin to become oily, and pathogens are absolutely not happy about this. You also have the sweating glands. Due to the salt content and lactic acid, which makes an unpleasant environment, germs have difficulty surviving. The skin and mucous membrane have to work hard to keep all these microorganisms at bay. This concerns billions of pathogens that would like to enter your body, and many of them are sickening. You also have a lot of good bacteria. For example, in your mouth. Don't kill them with alcoholic mouthwash. Contact your dentist or dental hygienist to ask which mouthwash is best. You will also find many good bacteria in your intestines. But unfortunately, many pathogens also enter through food. And here's the second barrier. Your gastrointestinal tract must ensure that pathogens cannot enter the body. Your stomach produces hydrochloric acid, which creates an extremely acidic environment. Microorganisms cannot survive as a result. And the mucous membrane of the gastrointestinal tract must also be intact. The skin, mucous membrane, and the digestive tract ensure that pathogens cannot enter the bloodstream. But pathogens can also enter the body through the respiratory tract. For example, the coronavirus enters the body through inhalation. And what if that happens now? Suppose a pathogen has entered your body. What can your body do? Then the white blood cells get to work. These blood cells can destroy pathogens. But of course, the white blood cells must be formed first. And that happens in the bones. This contains the bone marrow. Stem cells are made in the red bone marrow. These will then specialize into, for example, a platelet, a red blood cell, or a white blood cell. In case of inflammation, more stem cells will specialize into white blood cells. These blood cells protect the body. You all have different types of white blood cells. I sometimes call them the white soldiers. Just like in the army, you have soldiers at the front of the line or soldiers in a tank. You also have soldiers who help the wounded. Each has its own function, and it works a bit like that with white blood cells. You have white blood cells that first ensure that they recognize the enemy. Then you have white blood cells that will fight the enemy. And then you have white blood cells that clean up leftovers. The body is busy protecting you, defending you, and ensuring that you do not become ill. Pathogens, therefore, have to cross various barriers to make you sick. Or it must first pass the skin or mucous membrane and otherwise via the digestive tract or the lungs. But once it has entered your body, it still has to deal with the white blood cells. Very important to know that white blood cells only live for a few days. They are continuously created, but to create new ones, you have to live a healthy life. Sufficient fluid, varied diet, regular exercise, sufficient rest to produce sufficient new blood cells. For example, you go to a festival for 3 days with little sleep, drinking alcohol and eating fast food. Then there is a good chance that after 3 days you will suffer from infections, such as throat infection or ear infection. In addition to the natural defense system, there is also a specific immune system. For example, if you have experienced the disease once, you are also less likely to become ill. Or by vaccinating. This also makes you less likely to get sick. We then speak of immunity. If you have had that disease or have been vaccinated, you are immune to this specific pathogen. Thanks again for your attention. I hope everything was clear. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. See you soon.